Let us be blunt. 7 luxury brands have completely lost their elite touch, and the only people still proudly wearing them are those who do not know the rules have changed. A great migration is happening in the world of luxury. As the truly affluent move toward quieter, more discreet signals of wealth, these 7 brands have been left behind, becoming the unofficial uniform for aspirational consumers. They have become a loud presence in a world that now values a whisper. They sold you a ticket to the elite club. The reality is, the club moved. These brands are now selling souvenirs outside the old, empty building. In this video, I will dissect the 7 brands that have lost their insider status and explain the subtle social cues that prove it. Stay until the end. The final brand on this list was once the absolute pinnacle of luxury, and its transformation into a symbol of new money is the most dramatic and telling story of all. Gucci's fall from grace represents perhaps the most textbook example of luxury brand dilution we've seen in decades. What was once the pinnacle of Italian craftsmanship and exclusivity has transformed into a logo-saturated status symbol for the masses, leaving true connoisseurs looking elsewhere. The brand's aggressive expansion strategy under Alessandro Michele deliberately targeted a broader audience, prioritizing visibility over exclusivity. Walk through any major shopping mall in America, and you'll spot those interlocking G's everywhere, on belts, sneakers, t-shirts, and handbags. This ubiquity is precisely what has driven the true elite away. The data tells the story clearly. A 2024 analysis revealed that heavily monogrammed Gucci items lose approximately 40% of their value within the first year, while comparable items from brands that maintain stricter production limits retain over 80% of their original value. What's particularly telling is how Gucci trained its consumers to expect abundance rather than scarcity. The brand's constant product drops and collaborations created a psychology of availability, the opposite of what genuine luxury requires. True luxury isn't just expensive, it's rare and difficult to obtain. Gucci abandoned this principle in pursuit of market share. The visibility paradox is perhaps Gucci's greatest downfall. The very success that made the brand recognizable to everyone simultaneously destroyed its appeal to those who value genuine exclusivity. When everyone recognizes your luxury purchase, it ceases to function as an insider signal among the truly affluent. Within elite social circles, the shift is unmistakable. Carrying a loud Gucci monogram bag no longer signals "I belong," but rather "I want to belong." It's become a social liability among the established wealthy, who now view obvious Gucci consumption as a marker of aspiration rather than achievement. Number 6. Balenciaga. Balenciaga's transformation from a storied couture house founded on impeccable tailoring to a controversy-courting spectacle machine represents one of luxury's most dramatic identity shifts. Under Demna Gvasalia's direction, the brand traded its heritage of elegant restraint for headline-grabbing stunts and deliberately provocative designs. The strategy worked brilliantly for social media engagement, but it proved catastrophic for maintaining elite clientele. Interviews with longtime luxury consumers reveal a consistent pattern. They are quietly abandoning Balenciaga, tired of being associated with a brand that prioritizes viral moments over craftsmanship excellence. The fundamental customer shift is evident in who is buying Balenciaga today compared to a decade ago. The brand's core audience has migrated from discerning collectors seeking timeless value to trend chasers looking for social media relevance. This transformation shows up in purchasing patterns. Limited edition, controversy-generating items sell out instantly, while heritage-inspired pieces languish on shelves. Perhaps most damaging to Balenciaga's luxury credentials is how its focus on shock value has overshadowed conversations about quality and construction. When a luxury house becomes more recognized for selling destroyed sneakers for $1,800 than for exceptional craftsmanship, the core value proposition of luxury becomes compromised. The status signal has completely inverted. Carrying Balenciaga once conveyed a sophisticated understanding of fashion's artistic vanguard. Today, it signals a prioritization of trends over taste, marking the wearer as someone who follows fashion rather than sets it, the antithesis of genuine luxury positioning. Industry insiders Southers report that true taste arbiters now avoid Balenciaga's more recognizable pieces entirely, seeing them as obvious signals of prioritizing attention over discernment. This status inversion represents a fatal blow for any brand claiming luxury positioning. Perhaps no brand better exemplifies luxury's paradox than Louis Vuitton. The very monogram that built its empire has become its greatest liability among the truly discerning. What was once a symbol of aristocratic travel accessories has transformed into the world's most recognized luxury pattern, and therein lies the problem. The numbers tell a damning story. With over 450 Louis Vuitton stores globally and annual production volumes estimated at several million items, the brand's claim to exclusivity has become mathematically impossible to sustain. This volume-driven strategy fundamentally altered Louis Vuitton's position from rare possession to common luxury, an oxymoron that undermines its very premise. Market research confirms a clear elite migration pattern. Affluent buyers have systematically moved toward Louis Vuitton's subtler lines like epileather or abandoned the logo entirely, seeking more discreet luxury alternatives that do not immediately broadcast their price tag to every passerby. The sociological shift is perhaps most telling. Carrying a visible Louis Vuitton monogram item now immediately categorizes the owner in a specific social stratum, not at the top, but rather among those striving to signal upward mobility. Among the genuinely wealthy, obvious Louis Vuitton has become socially awkward, a clear indicator of status anxiety rather than status comfort. What is particularly fascinating is how Louis Vuitton's ubiquity transformed the monogram from a symbol of exclusive access to one of mainstream familiarity. When a pattern becomes so recognized that counterfeits are abundant in every tourist destination globally, the authentic version loses its power as a marker of distinction. The brand's greatest success, creating a universally recognized symbol of luxury, became its greatest liability among those who understand that true luxury whispers rather than shouts. Familiarity has indeed bred contempt among the elite consumer class. Number 4. Burberry. Burberry's journey from British heritage luxury to a confused fashion follower provides a masterclass in how not to manage a legacy brand. The iconic check pattern that once adorned the linings of coats worn by explorers and royalty became, through overexposure and inconsistent positioning, a symbol of luxury's democratic decline. The brand's strategic schizophrenia, bouncing between embracing and rejecting its British heritage, created profound market confusion. Under various creative directions, Burberry has struggled to decide whether it is a traditional British luxury house, a contemporary fashion brand, or something in between. This identity crisis left both consumers and cultural tastemakers unable to place Burberry clearly in the luxury hierarchy. The devaluation of Burberry's iconic check pattern represents one of luxury's most cautionary tales. What was once a subtle signifier of British aristocratic connections became, through licensing and overexposure in the early 2000s, associated with mainstream accessibility rather than exclusivity. Despite efforts to reclaim control, the pattern never fully recovered its elite status. Market data confirms this reputation damage. Resale interest in Burberry now concentrates almost exclusively on select heritage pieces that reference the brand's original equestrian and outdoor roots. Modern interpretations struggle to command premium prices, suggesting the market actively rejects Burberry's contemporary vision. Perhaps most damaging was Burberry's gradual abandonment of its British luxury foundations. In attempting to appear more globally relevant and modern, the brand diluted the very essence that gave it cultural value, its connection to British aristocratic traditions and outdoor lifestyle. Without this authentic foundation, Burberry became just another fashion brand chasing trends. The mainstream migration is now complete. Burberry's high visibility in shopping malls and outlet centers has rendered it unsuitable for those seeking genuine exclusivity. When a brand becomes a common sight in suburban shopping destinations, it cannot simultaneously function as a marker of exceptional status. Number 3. Off-White. Off-White represents perhaps the most predictable luxury downfall on our list. It was a brand built almost entirely on hype rather than heritage, and it was inevitably destined for a short luxury shelf life. Founded by Virgil Abloh, the label perfectly embodied the street luxury fusion moment, but it failed to establish lasting luxury credentials beyond temporary cultural relevance. The fundamental problem was category confusion. By positioning itself between streetwear and luxury, Off-White created neither the exclusivity required for long-term luxury status, nor the authentic subcultural credibility needed for streetwear longevity. This middle positioning ultimately satisfied neither world, leaving the brand vulnerable when fashion moved on. Market flooding accelerated the brand's decline. Off-White's recognizable motifs, quotation marks, diagonal stripes, and cross arrows became so widely available through constant releases and collaborations that ownership went from feeling exclusive to feeling predictable. When a design language becomes too familiar, it loses the mystery essential to luxury's allure. Resale data provides objective proof of this status decline. Secondary market prices for most off-white categories have softened considerably since 2021, with many items struggling to recoup their retail prices. This value collapse reflects the market's realization that the brand was built more on momentary hype than lasting quality or design innovation. The social signaling has completely shifted. Wearing off-white in 2025 communicates something very different than it did in 2018. Rather than marking the wearer as a fashion insider with cultural currency, it now signals someone following trends rather than setting them, the fashion equivalent of arriving to a party after everyone cool has already left. Off-White's dependence on zeitgeist moments rather than timeless design principles made it especially vulnerable to cultural attention shifts. As fashion moved toward either quieter luxury or different streetwear aesthetics, Off-White owners were left with expensive artifacts from a specific moment in fashion history rather than enduring luxury investments. Number 2. Givenchy. Givenchy's luxury decline represents a different pattern than the overexposure plaguing other brands on our list. Instead, the historic French house has suffered what industry insiders call luxury limbo, caught between accessible and exclusive with no clear identity in either category. The brand's struggle to maintain a consistent luxury identity across collections and creative directors has created profound consumer confusion. When a luxury house cannot clearly articulate what it represents, beyond its founder's connection to Audrey Hepburn decades ago, customers naturally gravitate toward brands with stronger identity markers. This identity crisis appears most clearly in the logo competition. While competitors develop distinctive visual signatures that immediately signal their brands, Givenchy failed to establish a consistently recognizable luxury logo. In a market where clear status signals drive purchases, this ambiguity proved fatal to maintaining premium positioning. The resale market tells the story objectively. Secondary market data shows muted demand for Givenchy across most categories, with significant interest limited to a few archival designs, particularly pieces from the Riccardo Tisci era. This selective interest demonstrates the market's rejection of the brand's recent output and overall direction. Givenchy's fall into luxury's dangerous middle ground, neither exclusive enough for elite consumers nor accessible enough to capture aspirational buyers, left it without a clear customer base. This positioning problem is reflected in retail performance, where the brand does not command waiting lists like top-tier luxury, nor does it enjoy the volume of more accessible brands. Perhaps most damning is Givenchy's absence from cultural conversation. Luxury thrives on being discussed, desired, and debated. Givenchy's lack of meaningful social media presence and cultural relevance has effectively rendered it invisible in modern luxury discourse. When a luxury brand ceases to be talked about, it ceases to matter as a status marker, the silent death of relevance. Number 1. Michael Kors. It represents the ultimate cautionary tale in luxury branding. It is the textbook example of how rapid expansion into accessible price points permanently destroys elite positioning. The brand's journey from respected designer label to ubiquitous mall fixture demonstrates that in luxury, the path from exclusive to accessible runs only one way. The statistics tell the story clearly. With products available in over 1,000 department stores, hundreds of outlet locations, and constant promotions, Michael Kors trained consumers to see it as a discount brand masquerading as luxury. When consumers know they should never pay full price for a brand, its luxury credentials are irrevocably damaged. This widespread availability fundamentally altered what Michael Kors' ownership signals. Carrying the brand no longer reflects achievement but rather aspiration, the starter luxury that signals someone is just beginning to enter the world of premium goods. This positioning creates an impossible status contradiction because genuine luxury must always signify arrival rather than journey. The brand's mass market acceptance is visible in retail context. When luxury products share retail environments with everyday brands, the context diminishes perceived value. Michael Kors' ubiquity in mainstream malls placed it firmly in a commercial rather than exclusive environment, destroying any remaining sense of special access. What makes Michael Kors the perfect conclusion to our analysis is how it demonstrates luxury's most fundamental truth. Accessibility and exclusivity are mutually exclusive values. The brand's pursuit of mass-market success completely destroyed its elite status, proving that once a luxury brand chooses accessibility, there is no path back to elite acceptance. This makes Michael Kors the definitive example of luxury's one-way street. It shows that true luxury must always remain somewhat inaccessible, not just in price but in distribution, visibility, and cultural positioning. When everyone can access a brand easily, it ceases to function as a meaningful status marker, regardless of its price point or design quality. The fall of these 7 brands signals a fundamental shift in how luxury operates in our culture. As wealth has become more visible, the truly affluent have systematically abandoned obvious luxury signals in favor of subtle insider knowledge markers that require cultural literacy to recognize. The elite migration pattern is clear. Those with genuine status have moved toward brands that whisper rather than shout, prioritizing craftsmanship over logos, heritage over hype, and discretion over display. This shift has created a clear hierarchy that separates sophisticated consumption from mere aspiration. What's most telling is how this transformation reflects changing values around status itself. True luxury now requires cultural capital and restraint rather than simply logo recognition and spending power. The ability to recognize quality without obvious branding has become the ultimate status marker. So what does this mean for you? Are these brands irredeemably lost, or is there still value in their heritage? Did your favorite luxury house make our list, and do you agree with its inclusion? Most importantly, which brands have the truly wealthy migrated toward instead? The answers might surprise you. Comment below with which brand's downfall shocked you most, and subscribe to learn which luxury houses now command genuine respect among those who truly understand the new codes of elite status. The rules have changed. Are you still playing the old game?